but I like things that are a little more obscure, that you just really don't know what the outcome could be. And like off-road running or off-road triathlon or Swimrun fits that bill, where it's just like, you got a bunch of people out there. Sometimes you're tied to another one, and you just got to get from the start to the finish as fast as you can with all sorts of things in the way. And I just enjoy that type of challenge. Really do.
Welcome to the Low Tide Boys, a Swimrun podcast. I'm Chip.
And I'm Chris, and this is episode 108 of the show.
It is.
It is. Back on the show this week is Purple Patch senior coach Mike Olzinski. He was our guest all the way back in episode 3, and we're stoked to have him back on the show to chat about strength training for swimrunners. His first show, incidentally, is still on our top 10 most downloaded episodes, and we thought, who better to talk to us about how to get stronger, more limber, happier for the upcoming swimrun season. And if you're noticing a theme lately, tip of the hat to you, and get your notepads out for this one. But first,
on to our training update. So ÖTILLÖ Catalina is now 8 weeks away.
Yeah.
It's almost time. Not yet. It's almost time to start doing some swimmer practices, start dialing in our transition, fiddling with all of our gear, seeing what we need to upgrade, all that sort of stuff, and most importantly, getting used to cold water again.
Ugh.
Exactly. As I said, it's almost time. Until then, it's all about preparing for the climbs and descents on the Catalina course, and we had a nice little 2+ hour run this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
It's a pretty good course, I think, for what we'll face. But yeah, essentially we're just training for one leg of this race.
Yeah. Now on to this week's shoutouts.
Yeah, so this week we're shouting out Elizabeth Starr. She's a San Francisco local and active in the local tri clubs, and she reached out to us because she's gotten a bunch of her friends to sign up for ÖTILLÖ Catalina. Yeah, and so she's been consuming the show content and asked us if we do a little show and tell and lead a swimmer practice at our local spot at Aquatic Park. Obviously, we're super stoked to get that email. And yeah, obviously more than happy to lead the practice for them. So that's going to be in early February at some point. So we might actually open that up for other folks if you're going to be in the area.
Area folks.
Yeah, I mean,
why not?
Yeah, help them out. They're all super stoked to be doing Catalina. So it's great. I mean, I love it.
Can't wait. Now on to this week's Feats of Endurance. This week's winner is Mike McMillan. He busted a swimmer practice in New Zealand over the weekend, and even though it's summer up there, it's still winter here, so it's a win. Congratulations, Mike. Stoked to see it. If you don't have any idea what we're talking about, well, you need to head on over to Strava, search Low Tide Boys. There is a group of folks there, approaching 400 members strong, where they are logging their athletic endeavors every single time, or maybe once in a while. But anywho, go join our Strava Club, see how everyone's training for swim runs, life, New Zealand summers, New Zealand winters, it doesn't matter. Be like Mike, be in the Low Tide Boys Strava Club. Over and out. Now, on to this week in Swimrun.
Cue the music.
Cue the music.
All right, we have a short update for everyone this week. The first swimrun event of the year, as far as we know, is Breka Swimrun Wanaka in New Zealand, which we're just talking about. There's lots of themes going, lots of patterns in these episodes. The race is taking place on March 19th and offers a 17.4K sprint course and a 44.5K full course, which looks
nice.
Looks really cool. We've never been to Wanaka, but obviously we want to go. You know, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah. Always.
As we mentioned last week, Odyssey Swimrun has opened registration for their 2022 events, and we encourage everyone to sign up before January 31st to take advantage of their early bird pricing and sign up for the lowest prices of the year. You need another incentive? We just got this little bit of intel. All finishers are getting not just hoodies, which are already, hard to keep in my closet.
Highly voted on as well. There was a Facebook poll. Yeah. Odyssey polled the audience. Hoodies won out by a landslide again.
So not only are they giving people hoodies, now you're getting
2 things.
And this, maybe I'm super excited about this because
I'm
I'm like, I'm into the sock game, but they're giving custom socks for each event. So you're going to get your like Orca socks, your Austin sock. I mean, it's going to be super cool.
Wait.
So it's really cool of them. And they're just, where you didn't think they could take it up a notch, they are. Anyway, that's it for this week. Feel free to reach out and let us know if there's anything you'd like for us to mention on the show.
Yes. Now on to our interview with senior coach Mike Olzinski, Purple Patch Fitness.
Yeah, so it was great to have Mike back on the show to catch up. We actually recorded this live from Studio G.
In-person interview.
In person, yeah, I guess, yeah.
Well,
right,
I mean, physically present.
Physically in person, which was great to see Mike. We've known him for a long time, so it was great to catch up with him. He recently got back from coaching at a Purple Patch camp in Kona with our other favorite coach, John Stevens. So it was really cool to kind of see those little Venn diagrams overlap a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We chatted with him about strength training for Swimrun, what exercises he recommends. We even talked about how he's getting talked into signing up for Odyssey Swimrun Orcas Island by John Stevens. Good job, John.
Nice.
Keep on the full
Referral
press.
now free is
yeah.
referral check is in the mail.
Yeah, high five has Lars has a high five waiting for you. Anyway, there's a lot of great content on this one. Just like last week, you want to take your notepads out. Just a lot of things to keep in mind. We talked about the mental game of things, the physical game. This is action packed.
It's great. And again, I think what I really like out of these episodes is that you can just take things that you can do tomorrow. You can listen to this and you could bust some of the tips out that he was doing tomorrow. I just love that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And Mike is packed full of nuggets like that.
Yep.
Now,
We should just get to it.
let's get to it. Mike O,
As he's known.
as he's known in some circles, like this one here.
Okay, so we have repeat guests in the studio.
Our first in Studio G.
Yeah, so it's kind of like live-ish. I mean, we're recording it on Monday, but live-ish. We have senior coach. Is that what it is?
That is it.
Stop
It
talking.
feels
Okay,
weird
stop
to
talking.
say.
Senior coach Michael Olzinski from Purple Patch Fitness. Welcome back to the show, man.
What an honor and a privilege to be live in the studio. And to everyone out there, I mean, it's hard to describe the beauty in here.
And the smell.
It is just
It's the only
fabulous.
studio
I
that
think they
requires
already know
a
what it
heavy
looks like.
jacket.
Yeah, I think
Because
they
it's
already
so
know what it
cold.
looks like. Yeah, man. So great to have you on. You're on initially all the way back in episode 3. This was when we couldn't get guests, and we're like, who do we think would actually agree to this?
We're like, we could talk Mike into coming.
Yeah, and you were super stoked on it. It was a great episode. We learned a ton. It inspired a bunch of memes. So we're like, you know what? We should check in on you, see how you're doing. Let's keep you in the top 10 of all-time downloads for our show. And yeah, man, tell us what you've been up to.
Well, we just gotta push the polls a little bit, you know? And what I've been up to, boy, it's a loaded question, I guess, over the last year. But navigating, I think, is a good way to say it. Navigating. Unfortunately, I did just get back from a week-long training camp with triathletes out in the horrendous island of Kona.
Oh, man.
It was
Rubbish
really
weather
rough.
out there.
I hear it's super hot there and like dry and stuff.
It was just, it was really
You do
difficult.
look more tan. Actually.
I was lathered up and clothing on every inch of my skin because I was afraid I was going to get lit by the sun, but it was beautiful. Nice water,
Yeah.
great swimming, great runs.
So Purple Patch does these like on a regular basis, but is the Kona one special because it's on Kona? Is that like a
It is
big one?
special. Yeah, it definitely is. And we don't necessarily train down in the race site. We have done it before, but there's nicer area a little bit north on the Queen K. And the riding is just beautiful, really, really nice. I think this was the 12th year that we've done it.
wow?
Mhm.
How many times have you gone?
This is my 4th, I believe.
Nice.
4th, yeah. Gets me the senior rank.
Yeah,
there you go.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Now I feel old. Senior coach, my gosh.
Yeah. So does this mean that you're up on our other favorite Purple Patch coach, John Stevens?
Ooh, I am up on John.
Oh, man.
Yes, and I am not
Okay,
afraid to
it's good
say
to
it.
We'll have to remind him
Good
of
to
that.
know. We'll have to talk to him about that.
Yep. I'm basically like his big brother, I guess you could say.
There you go.
Okay. Does he have to ask you to sign
Even though he's
approve his
older.
expense reports or anything like that? Or
Yeah, I mean, I got
like
I'm
a
pretty
permission
lenient
slip?
with John, you know.
Yeah, just let him go.
hey, Mike,
he's got
can
that beard.
Can I get this coffee?
He's got
Is
that bum hip, so you know, gotta
Oh,
let
yeah.
him.
We got to take care of him.
So you were just mentioning this off the air, but I think it bears mentioning. So you might be doing Orcas Island. Can we talk about this for a little bit?
We can talk about it.
Did this happen on Kona?
It did happen on Kona.
Oh, I feel that John Stevens probably had something to do with this. If I had to imagine,
I would say he, in fact, had everything to do with it.
So
Everything.
I'm really curious. So from your perspective as a
Mhm.
person receiving the pitch from one of the best swim runners in America,
yeah.
like what did he say where you're like, yeah, you know what, that actually sounds like a killer idea.
Well, I said I want the easiest swim course possible. Because I might be doing it with one of our other coaches, Brad, he's a far better swimmer than I am.
He'll just tow you along.
He'll tow me for
Okay.
sure.
Perfect.
And he said it's
Dream
great
come
because
true.
it is on our coast, the West Coast, and it's very technical trail running, which
You
we
love.
have those here, and I do like
Yeah.
that. And it's like a kind of cross country, hella vert type of course. And
Mhm.
that's exciting. And he just said, also the beauty of it, and the thing that he kept highlighting was the pizza man after the race.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you, I can
Yeah.
do about 30 minutes. on
Well,
the pizza guy.
who were we talking to this about? It was like that race. Yes, you have to get to Orcas Island. The race costs money, but you could eat
All you can eat pizzas.
$400 worth of pizza
if you can
for
do
the
it.
next 6 hours, and the pizzas are amazing. And
They
you
were
get in
very
interesting conversations about Buddhism and all kinds of random stuff.
yeah.
But
See? This is great.
you get a lot of pizza.
Very good.
I mean, I would have a pizza anyways after all races. And
Yeah,
the fact that this wonderful epic man is there making pizzas all day.
It's a team of people.
Well,
A team
this,
of
this
people.
is
Oh,
what
got
happened.
it,
Like
got
Chipper would disappear, and he'd come back 25 minutes later with
Two huge Zaws.
just like the
Got
whole
it.
pizza, because we were staying really close to the finish line. He would just show up with whole pizzas. Then we'd have to go back to give him back the little trays because they didn't have
Yeah.
to-go boxes.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
That was
that was basically the nail in the coffin right there.
Yeah.
That was it.
Well, you would love it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
think it'd be awesome.
From an athlete perspective, Mike, you have raced. We've done many triathlons with you. You've done half Ironman distance. You're a very above average, certainly above average trail runner.
Yeah. Also
out here.
specializes in the 5K.
Also super fast. You did a mile for time, or you've been really focusing on speed as well. You're a very your range as an athlete is very impressive, I will say. I'm not just saying this because you're our first in-person student. That doesn't hurt either. So I think the experience that you have, a swim run is a good way to tap into a lot of different pieces of that, because it's not just I'm going to go out and do a quick 18-mile trail run with 6K of vert. That's any Saturday for you around here. But you do have to tap into a lot of the other stuff that I know you really enjoy doing and are very educated on, is that really functional strength and how to be just a kind of like a bulletproof, strong athlete that can face any challenge. And Orcas is that challenge. And you're ready for it, basically, is what I see.
You should be my hype man.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was
That's
like,
amazing.
Really? I don't usually do.
You're
the
hyping
hype.
him up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
I think it's really, I've always just been drawn to the fact that me, like many, many athletes out there, were just not real specialists in particular races, like the marathon or the 5K or the Olympic triathlon. I enjoy those events, but I like things that are a little more obscure, that you just really don't know what the outcome could be. And like off-road running or off-road triathlon or Swimrun fits that bill, where it's just like, you got a bunch of people out there. Sometimes you're tied to another one, and you just got to get from the start to the finish as fast as you can with all sorts of things in the way. And I just enjoy that type of challenge. Really do.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that you'll find that challenge at Orcas.
It's sitting there on the top of Mount
In case we haven't made it obvious, like Chipper and I, we were talking about this on the run. We're trying to convince someone else to do Orcas on our run on Saturday. And it was like, that race is so challenging and such a feat of endurance that anybody who just finishes it, respect. If some random person walks up to you is like, yeah, I did Orcas a couple of years ago, long course, respect.
It doesn't matter what their finish time was or whatever happened.
Nope.
The fact that
Like
you just started
sweet. Yeah.
and you crossed the finish line,
yeah,
major props.
Yeah, that's
I
why
need a bumper sticker like this out on the car in the front.
We'll make
there.
it for you.
Get you
That's
one.
what I want.
Yeah, you'll get one. You'll get one. And honestly, that's why Chipper, I don't know if you heard, he had this 4-hour bonk. We did it a couple months ago.
4 to 5 hour.
4 to 5 hour bonk. But he was getting mad respect afterwards, and it was like well deserved because to hang in there for that course, I mean, it was definitely mad respect.
That was at Orcas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was having a bad
Very,
day. Anyway, we have a whole show on that, so
Yeah,
we'll send you the link.
I
if you
will
wanna listen to
rewind.
it.
You can.
But yeah, so Chipper mentioned, this year we're focusing a lot on strength and just making sure, we have some pretty lofty goals for racing that we sort of understand that we're not getting any younger, and having functional strength is really important. So we'd love to hear kind of your theories on, for swim running in particular, what you think, what should people be doing?
And we got a long season. I mean, we kicked off our official training Jan 1, and our last race of the season would be November, like the first or second week in November, including potentially the World Championship race, which is 45 miles of running, 10Ks of swimming. We got a pretty packed summer. So basically, what can we do, Mike, to be bomb-proof for the whole year?
That's a good word, bomb-proof. I love bomb-proof athletes because regardless of the sport, I just find from coaching over the last 11 or 12 years or so, the number one limiter for people doing well or getting to where they want to be is not being able to train. And that happens in all sports. And that usually comes from just getting injured and having problems or having niggles sideline you for a few weeks. You got to miss this. You got to miss that. You got to maybe change your race schedule because of injuries. And I'm sick of seeing it happen, and I want to eliminate it as much as I can. So with the people I work with, we look at strength and conditioning as a season that intertwines with your sport-specific work. So if you look at the season that you guys are about to embark on,
dude. Blowing my mind.
Blowing your mind?
Yeah, this is great.
Keep going.
It's great.
Sorry to interrupt.
It's I mean, it's been around and it gets used in all sports. I mean, we're watching NFL right now, and they are in their peak season, playoffs into Super Bowl. So
they need to be peaking now. Yes.
Literally. I think the Niners might have peaked a week or two early. We don't know. We'll see. We'll find out this week. But so with their preseason and their early season, I'm assuming, I'm not an NFL coach, I'm not a strength and conditioning coach for the NFL, but it all works kind of on the same format where you do a lot of heavy power work, build your physical resources as much as you can so that when it comes time to be in your peak condition, you can focus on your sport. And right now, I'm sure they're lifting. This is the NFL. They're not. They're in the gym.
Yeah,
all
they're
year,
lifting
I'm sure.
all the time. Yeah.
They're not out of the gym like a triathlete might be, or like a runner or swim runner might be. But they're certainly not letting it dominate any of the work they do out the rest of the week. And they're highly focused on the mental side, the physical preparation to be the best in the game. It's not much different with endurance events. So in the early season, like right now or in January going into February and March, swim run is like the epitome of something that you need a lot of physical resources. You need leg strength, hip strength, shoulder strength, core strength, anti-rotation, anti-extension in order to complete this event. And now is where you add all that to your body as much as you can, while, of course, we keep the sport-specific training kind of close to heart without letting it really wear us down or tire us out. So it can be kind of fun, it can be sparky, it can be easy, and it can be intense. So if we can I pause for a second there? What do you think?
It's great.
I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude.
I feel for myself, you start the new year off, okay, you got big goals. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z race, this and that. And I feel that a lot of people have heard exactly what you're saying. You need the strength, kind of underlying foundation to kind of power you through the season and keep you free of injury. And that might start off pretty great in January, maybe even into February. But it kind of, at some point, it does start to fall off, or I notice it personally when you start really ramping the volume up. Maybe it's run volume or you're getting more days in the pool, and it does start to kind of eat away at that. What's your sort of advice for athletes that don't want to let that strength part kind of fall off the table when the rest of your volume starts ramping up, come whatever your mid season is?
I see it this way. If you look at your race year in quarters, like we're all used to, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, that can change a lot. So I would say Q1 is kind of physical preparation.
Okay.
So that's where strength can be pretty intense, pretty high. You can accept being sore, being fatigued, being a little bit sluggish in a swim or a run because you're focusing on building strength, but you can still swim and run. Q2 is what I might see as a power building phase or a more athletic preparation in strength. Mm-hmm. So what are those months?
Repeats and stuff.
Yeah, you can start to turn it into that. Maybe,
like stairs.
Definitely that kind of thing. Power building in the legs, stairs. You can use the field and do some body weight work. Just, walking lunges, plyometrics at a lower level for a few weeks are acceptable at that time to just build the recruitment and nervous engagement of your body. But then in the shoulders, you can do a lot of things too for swimming that might be exciting. You can do some little more power lifting in your upper body as well, whether that's, cleans or overhead push press or some kind of pull-up exercise. You can really build a lot of power where you're almost marrying the power work in the gym and with your physical body with some power work in your sport. So swimming power work and running power work, which is like you're saying.
There's a big pull set with the paddles on and okay.
Boom. Yeah, I've seen even crazy things that I love because I love crazy things. Like I remember one of my favorite athletes, Javier Gomez, and watching videos of his coach like tying a harness to him with weights attached to one side of the pool, and he would just have to swim through it like a sled. Exactly.
Jeez.
Gnarly stuff. But
the ankle
maybe you
can end up torture for us.
You can just have Chris hanging behind you with some rubber.
I already hang behind him.
That's true. That is a good race simulation practice.
Not bad.
I'm already trying to hang on that tether.
I think so. Q2 can be fun. It can be where they start to marry a little bit, but then you got the rest of the year, Q3 and Q4, which is for us pretty race heavy. We're usually doing something to prepare some B or C style races. That's where strength becomes more maintenance, I believe. You're really keeping your joints healthy. You're keeping your muscles supple. You're keeping ligaments and tendons healthy. It's all good stuff. It's not, you're backing off of the stimulus that you used earlier in the year, and you're elevating the stimulus of swimming and running. So that strength is this catch-all, which now includes self-care and functional mobility and foam rolling, things you want to put into that bucket, So I count that all as functional strength training. And that's part of the season. That's kind of how they intertwine.
I've mentioned this on the show before, but when I was my fittest, I was working with a mutual friend of ours, Nate Helming, and I was in this, it was kind of like CrossFit for people who can't squat to 1,000 pounds kind of thing. So like CrossFit for endurance. And we're all kind of as guinea pigs back in the day. But for those years, it'd be like, do heavy squats on Thursday, do a race on Sunday, be back in the gym on Tuesday. And it'd be like, all right, back at, it'd be super sluggish, but like having that strong base, I definitely felt bomb-proof for those few years where I was really hitting it.
I think it works. I really do. And I know there's a lot of styles out there too. there's a lot of coaching styles, and no one's right or wrong. It's just how you apply it with a given person. And I just find people that are more in our circumstance, like we're getting, can I say this? Oh my gosh.
Say it.
We're getting older.
Oh,
yeah.
Are we?
I'm
Yeah.
I'm
I'm a
almost in my
senior
mid-30s.
coach now.
Yeah.
God.
I see
Senior
some
coach.
gray hairs in that
It's,
beard.
yeah, it's coming through.
Yeah.
They're going to have to change that font because you're not going to be able to read the P and
Yeah.
the P on the purple patch.
But
Can you increase?
Can I
it
just
to
say that's like a
25?
huge pet peeve? Like the purple patch rebrand, I can't stand the font, man.
I think we changed it again, though.
Oh, good. They
We'll
they
strike
got my
this from the
letters.
There was like the P with the little tail.
Yeah,
I think we removed the tail.
that's good.
Oh,
I do think we did.
Wow.
Subtle.
But I mean, it's just natural for humans. One of the things we can't avoid is that we're going to get older eventually. And I would say it's useful, even if you don't really need it in your life right now. At some point, you will. So I think you might as well just get used to the habit and kind of fold it into how you train for a year. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I almost turned it into. This is what I did last year. It was kind of like a daily push up practice. Just get up and do push ups, and after a while, it was just like I just was so used to it, right? Then you just do it, and it was just like I think I got it from Batman or something. But but yeah. So you were talking about there's a lot of different approaches to this stuff, but there has to be some like universal principles that make sense. And it sounds like obviously lifting heavy things is one. And doing like plyo and sort of functional movement stuff is another. Is there anything else that like I'm thinking specifically for swim run, sort of shoulder strain, back strain, like ankles from running on super technical stuff? Do you have any sort of pearls?
Yeah, for
that?
sure. Even talking with John is where we started to come up with some of this stuff, and I was just getting ideas. But some of the specific stuff that I think swim run would require is probably some sort of eccentric loading or eccentric conditioning, because you fatigue your body in the swim. You know, most of us do. Maybe not the gods like Chipper. Like doesn't get fatigued.
Greek god.
Well, I don't know about that.
I always get fatigued when I swim. I don't really have to go that far. It just gets me fatigued. All body fatigue, not like
Full
upper
body,
like
it's a couple
legs,
hundred.
everything.
You're shelled.
And when you
Chipper's
have
just
that
bored.
fatigue and you got to get up and start
Mental
to
fatigue.
run, mental fatigue too. That I'm extremely weak there. But
Aren't we
when
all?
you're fatigued and you have to get out and start plodding along and running, you're now controlling your body weight with gravity, and your legs need to spring and rebound from the ground. So what you can train is your body's ability to accept load and rebound quickly, which is kind of like the eccentric training, or training the down of a squat, basically. And add into that a place like Orcas, where it's a lot of downhill running, and the ground disappears from you every step you take. So I do think having some style of eccentric training would be good. Can't do it a lot, because you'll never feel more sore in your life than after a good eccentric day.
So what's some examples of eccentric work?
Good eccentric exercise would be doing regular squats like you might normally do in a gym with a barbell or kettlebell even, and count to 4 going down. So I'm standing up high, down, 2, 3, 4, and then boom, snap back up with 1 or 2
You
seconds.
want to kind of explode up,
Mhm.
like okay.
You have to be prepared for this, mind you. So if you're listening and you're like, oh, I'm going to go try that now, like, just hold on. Make sure you're conditioned and can squat well first. But really slowly accepting load with great posture and then rebounding quickly is good eccentric training. And then you could even do things like a drop jump, which is one of my personal favorites, where you stand on top of a box and then just step off and do a little quick reaction on both feet, like a little hop, be a drop jump. You're just training both feet with all your body weight and acceleration due to gravity to just snap back and come up.
I just got like 4
Okay.
meme ideas, by the way.
Oh.
Just so you know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are any of them Rocky? maybe, or Rambo.
I was going to say Tigger.
We got some.
But
yeah,
Tigger.
well,
Okay, I can play with that.
just wait and see.
Winnie the Pooh was a childhood favorite.
I'm making notes.
okay, so like a box jump, but then the second you touch the ground, you're getting ready. You got to do a little bunny hop or something.
Reaction time.
Yeah,
That is
you know,
training
you
ground
know which
reaction.
one I've been doing that I got from this app? It's eccentric bridges for hamstrings.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, those
those
hurt,
are painful. Yeah.
but I mean that's been. I mean, I definitely felt the progress from that, where you basically just do like a glute bridge, and then you slowly let your ankle. You wear socks like on hardwood or something. You slowly bring your ankles out.
Ooh.
Yeah, you definitely.
Get a Swiss ball. That's a great exercise with a Swiss ball, and you just kind of put your heels on and slowly let the ball out and
Oh
bring
yeah.
it back up. Oof.
Okay. Oh, like a
Pain.
hamstring curl with your heels kind of dug onto the.
Are those just yoga balls, Swiss balls?
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, they're a little larger. Swiss ball might be like up to your knee.
Okay.
So.
Oh.
But yeah, I think that's all really
Link in
good
the
stuff.
description.
The other thing I might even add to it would be like just conditioning workouts. You can say what you want, and plenty of trainers are not huge fans, but I am for Swimrun, is just burpees. Horizontal to vertical, and you guys have talked about this before, but workouts that involve something like that, or just, interval conditioning workouts, because it really is an athletic event, and handling swim to run back and forth, and keeping your wits about you, and your sight and your vision and everything. I think just to run straight and swim straight all the time just would be lacking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because go ahead. I was going to say, I mean, most swimrun excellents aren't this nice Baywatch beach that you're running out onto, and then there's the
Jeffrey's hair
trailhead. Let
flowing.
me just go there. Yeah, I got my hair out, got the flow going. Yeah, it's whether it be at Austin or Orcas or wherever, you're scrambling up. Let me grab on this rock. Let me push here. Oh, let me push Chris's butt up here. Let me give a hand down to this person. Like, you got to be ready for everything but just up and down and get out really easily, which is why every time we get out of the pool, I insist on a deck up. Just one, but
Yeah. Well, that was one of the big
brilliant.
takeaways from the last time, was a fart like swimming, deck ups.
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, that was good.
I maintain that. Still do those.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you can say what you want about CrossFit people as like a cultural movement or whatever, but the idea that you can be super strong and still be doing things like at tempo, while that seems a little bit dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, but like, doing 10 deadlifts, running 400, coming back in, doing 10 burpees, 10 pull-ups, and just do it again for time in like 10 minutes or something, like that level of strength is, I mean, can mask a lot of other deficiencies. I think if you're not like the strongest swimmer or you're not the strongest runner, at least you know that your body is, could handle sort of high intensity stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it all came from a good place, It all came from a good place, and conditioning and preparation. And yeah, I agree for sure. At the end of the day, you just have to be standing upright, right?
Yeah.
Looking good.
And if you're strong, I think you can always stand upright. You can even, if you didn't have weights or want to do CrossFit style workouts, I mean, grab a high school soccer conditioning day. And I think that would be interesting. You don't need a whole lot of weight. You can get some cones, and, the beep test of just running back and forth with a descending beep is as hard as it gets in any athletic training, and it's good because you control your heart rate, and you're accelerating and then decelerating and all this good stuff. So lots of ways to do it.
Test, huh?
It's a guaranteed way to puke.
Oh,
if you've
great.
never puked while working out, I could almost guarantee if you prepare correctly, you can puke.
Yeah, if
during
you,
the
if,
what
weekends.
if you
nachos
give it
before?
if you give it like an honest go and
Gold
drink 10
college
beers.
try on it. You're Ralph. So when you're writing workouts and plans for triathletes or your athletes that you're doing, how many days are you putting them on their, let's just call it their core sport or what their goal sport is? If it's to do an Ironman, then it's triathlon. If it's swim run, then whatever. How many days are you, quote unquote, prescribing them that sort of work? And then how many days are you prescribing your sort of conditioning or your functional strength type work? Is it
Mhm.
something that has to be a 1-to-1 ratio, or how does that look like? Because speaking personally, I feel sometimes people get really overwhelmed. Oh man, I got to be in the gym 4 days lifting really heavy weights and I can't make it and all this stuff. And it kind of becomes too much to sort of like, it becomes overwhelming to even get started on it. But I have a feeling you're going to tell us you don't need to be in the gym 4 days a week.
You're right. 2. I set aside 2 days for everyone.
Okay.
And then some, depending on circumstance, will get 3 maximum. And even those 2 days often will get paired with something. So I might have them go for a jog after it, or I might have them do it before a bike ride,
Okay.
and then they just kind of can go and spin easy or run easy. Great to do after a swim. If you want to just do a little quick 30, 40-minute swim to wake up in the morning and then hit some strength, great combination. But I make sure 2 days are set aside for physical training.
Nice.
And some people, maybe someone that's a little bit older or a little more injury prone, will typically get the 3rd day.
Okay. And I've not seen any triathlete walking around like Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day. Like, we're not talking about getting ripped and chiseled.
Yeah, I don't think you need to
buffed
worry
out or
about that.
anything.
This is the same thing. Every time I tell my wife, she's like, "Oh, I want to lift weights, but I don't want to get bulky." I'm like, "Okay, settle down.
Yeah.
It's going to take you like 5 years of that. You're going to roid it up. Like, what's going on? Don't worry about that." But yeah, it's like I feel like the muscle mass that you gain is more of like lean, strong muscles because you're not just lifting weights.
Precisely. We're not at risk of coming out looking like Caleb Dressel. I just, I wish we were. I really do. But no, we're just not. And also remember, in the catch-all of strength, we have, like you were saying, on the swim exit, coordination, balance, stability, endurance. Those are all things that are part of strength training. And sometimes just getting your body to synchronize really well is what helps you sidestep injuries, So it's the deep muscle that we're looking for, getting every muscle to work at its highest capacity, and that doesn't mean it has to grow. And in fact, it's really hard for them to grow because there's other sports that do that.
Right.
And things.
Yeah. You never heard someone saying like, "Oh yeah, my rotator cuff is so buffed out right now. It's huge.
My calves are just like
My rotator cuff.
Yeah, my capsule.
Huge.
My calves are just like jettisoning from my pants right now. It's amazing.
It's like a couple
Can't
of
wear
softballs.
pants. Can't even wear pants.
Yeah, you got to wear shorts all the time. You got a calf problem. You got a calf problem like that. Nice. I love that stuff, and I have been.
You've been good.
I don't know the.
You've been doing good.
I don't know how important is consistency, Mike?
Oof. Chris, do you want to answer that? I feel like I think
think
you
the
guys have
answer
been
is
well
yes.
trained.
The answer is yes.
The answer
you
is
just
yes.
have to, if you can make it into a habit and stick with it, then it becomes kind of like second nature, and then you really see the benefits later on. Almost when you don't even realize that you're getting the benefits, like you're kind of tired, but you're finishing that last half marathon, and the last 2 miles, you can just kind of like lock in your form and just bust it out.
Yeah.
If you're not strong, or if you haven't, if you just don't have that, you're not crossing the finish line looking good.
I agree, man. Well said. I can even tell a story about today. And I had a conversation with a wonderful athlete of mine, is a wonderful, wonderful guy, busy man, operates on people's hearts, and just had a child, and he just had a hard time fitting in training.
I could see how that would happen.
If you can understand, I guess you guys are both parents. You understand that. I mean, add in a little heart surgery here and there.
Sounds stressful.
We have other hobbies on the side.
And just a wonderful, wonderful, positive human. And just it gets hard sometimes when you lose consistency. And what he told me, his way to keep consistency, which I count, is that when he had 7 minutes, when his child's bottle was brewing, he would just do some arm swings and do some stretches in the kitchen instead of scrolling on his phone. It's like, and in my opinion, that's a habit. And in his mind, he's like, I can't lose the habit of doing my strength training or my functional conditioning. So even though I didn't get to the gym today, I didn't have time to do my deadlifts that were on my program. What I did have time to do was make sure my shoulders are loose, maybe swing my hips out a little bit, make sure my hamstrings aren't getting super tight from sitting a lot and being in a singular standing posture. I count that to me. Doing 7-way hips, doing arm circles, doing 10 body weight squats and 10 push-ups. This is a habit that you can build upon.
Yeah.
And I think habit stacking is a term that I learned, I believe, from a nutritionist many, many years ago. And habit stacking is just taking one little thing and letting it build upon itself over time. And if you just start with, like Chris said, 10 push-ups a day, that can evolve. Or a little core exercise after a swim workout, that can evolve. And I believe that is the most important thing, instead of always just putting your head down and trying to gut out as many yards as you can in the pool. 5 minutes at the end of it to just train your body a little bit is well worth it in the long run.
This is not a sponsored ad right here, but James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, that's where
that's where it came from.
Habit stacking comes from.
Got it.
It's a great book.
And it works. I worked with a nutritionist, Elizabeth, and she used to teach me habit stacking. And it makes all the sense. Connecting the dots.
I think there's a psychological benefit to it as well, about you're basically getting these kind of mini victories every single time that you make a habit. And that's micro dosing positive stuff into your head, essentially, right? Of like, oh, hey, yeah, I didn't do my 10 snatch and 10 cleans I was going to do, but I did do 10 push-ups, a couple pull-ups, and I did a couple rounds of that. And like, okay, puts a little wind in your sails.
I think another way to think about it, and this is what James Clear mentions in his book, is essentially that if you see yourself not as someone who runs, but as a runner, what do runners do? Runners run. Right. So as you see yourself as I do strength, I am a strength trained athlete. So what do people who do strength do? They do weights. So it makes it easier to get that positive reinforcement on a habit once you've developed it, because you sort of identify as someone who does these things. And what do people who do these things do? They do it.
So what we got to do is you're a swim runner. Yes.
Mike is a swim runner.
Mike is a swim runner. We got to make a swim runner. And synonymous with being a swim runner is hitting the weights. And I know when I'm going to be affirmative in this, when I am training for Orcas Island, I will be hitting the weights regularly, and I know that I will feel much better if I do.
If you can find a Stairmaster, I'd highly recommend it.
Oh, he's got TAM.
Oh yeah, you can.
There's a little flight of stairs over in Mill Valley called the Dipsy.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. And I happen to know a guy that lives on the stairs now.
Like, honestly, just living where you live or we live, Orcas isn't as daunting as a flatlander, like a training feat. I mean, you can make it happen anywhere, but here it's just like, you want to do TAM, do north side, go up Eldridge the whole way, you'll get plenty of climbing, steady state climbing going.
The problem is going to be getting in the water after that. That's what makes me nervous.
It's going to feel great.
You're fine.
It's going to feel great. And, you have a couple of random guys here willing to take you out to AP and show you the ropes and stuff. Your little mini master, small M master class on transitions and stuff.
I like that. that.
Yeah, we could do that. Well, we're going to hold a clinic for
That'll save you from having to listen to like 107 episodes of the show.
we can make a whole
crash course.
We can make like a whole month of it, every Saturday. I think that should be just a Saturday thing.
Don't tempt us.
Swimrun.
It's a good time.
I'll bring all my buoys. Like everyone, all my paddles. What other toys can I use? That's what I want to know.
You can bring anything you want, but you have to always carry it with you. Mm-hmm. So some people do rock fins. I would personally not recommend that.
Yeah,
but I have seen it we did Casco Bay this year, and this guy had serious diving fins that he kind of had this jerry rig situation on his back, and he would put them on. But of course, we just ran right in the water and
It's
swam
another
off
meme.
while he was
Yeah.
sitting down to kind of like
Yeah.
put the fins on and everything. But hey, if there's a 2K swim and you got a bum shoulder or something, or you want to try to power through it, you could bring the fins, but you got to run around with them all the time. And I wouldn't want to run around with those fins. I'll
That's
tell you that
true.
right now.
And to be able to do most people use paddles? Is that pretty common?
Yeah, so
I feel like
kinda-
probably 90% of people.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're sort of the state of the tech, just like if it was triathlon, you'd be like, yeah, carbon fiber, zips with, anyway, whatever. I've lost the art of
You
it.
lost
the
your-
aero helmet
yeah.
and the swoop goggles or whatever. In Swimrun, sort of the state of the sport is wetsuit that's thinner than they used to be, with a bottom that's essentially designed for running. A big pool buoy that compensates for having a thinner wetsuit. Well draining shoes, paddles that are as big as you can handle without causing shoulder strain or distress of any kind.
Yeah, form breakdown or anything. And then goggles.
Goggles.
And you're good to go.
That's it.
I think that actually
Minimal.
brings in specificity there with those. If you want to be able to handle, I mean, if you're allowed, go as the biggest paddles you can, right? Like get some dinner plates on your hands. And I think that could really require some good conditioning of your shoulders, just to make sure that you're not being thrown off your stroke in any way or compensating.
Yeah.
So being able to use those paddles seems like you need some awareness and proprioception in your shoulders. And so there we go. Another reason why probably good to do some lifting.
Yeah, so you don't blow out your shoulders.
Yeah. And some XL garbage can lids.
Because
Yeah.
John was even describing, like, sometimes you can use the paddle just with your hand and let your hand drop, but let your hand do the pulling and your elbow just kind of gets out of the way. Whereas normally we want our elbow to be high and up and use the forearm slightly, but when we use the paddles, we can kind of just let it drop and pull with our hand.
I think that's kind of, I have some major stroke problems, and I'm not in my phase of swimming where I'm, psychoanalyzing my stroke. Is that I got bigger gains
That's
on
my job,
volume.
like looking over.
Yeah, at the corner of his eye. What's Chipper doing? That lazy elbow of his hanging down over there. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I can feel when I'm fatiguing in my shoulder, because I do feel the elbow kind of slip down, and it's like you can feel the stroke just like slip away a little bit on you. But that is one area I do feel like I have to be really mentally tuned in to that, of like hold the stroke.
Right.
That actually brings up something. I think another thing is strength training that at least I found when I was consistently doing it. Now I suck at it and I do it like as often as I can, but not very often, is sort of the mental piece of it. Like lifting heavy things, it takes some bravery. Like every time you get under the bar, be like, can I do this or not? And I feel like even like flexing that muscle is important. Like all these little instances to be brave, translate in a race. Okay, I think I have a match. I'm gonna burn it here, or I'm gonna push the effort, or I'm gonna like mentally just stay locked in because I've done harder things. Is that something that you would co-sign on?
100% co-sign. I co-sign. In fact, I would put a challenge, like using an assist. Test your own mental confidence. Go and see how many pull-ups you can do.
An assist, you mean like one of those big bands?
Yeah.
I have one here,
Use
'cause
as
there's
much
no way I
assist
can
as
do
you
a
want.
Regular pull-up.
I use 2 bands, and I do pull-ups every single week, and I usually use 2 monster bands just to assist my feet and give me a little pressure, so I'm doing them correctly. But go ahead and just see how many you can do, whether you want to test yourself assisted or non-assisted. And if you can add 10 to that, think about how you would feel mentally with everything else. If you just get stronger doing pull-ups, I believe that is like a philosophical, I hate this word, maybe a shortcut. I won't even say the curse word that I don't like.
The H word?
Yes.
Yeah, don't say the H
I'm
word.
not going to say it. But it's like, I see it as a
level up.
A level up.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was trying to find
Does it
a
rhyme
good
with
word.
yak?
It rhymes
A
with-
life yak? Okay.
Yep. Some tack,
Okay.
I do see a correlation between, and they do say there's a lot of studies, there's a lot of science that just equivalates pull-ups with pure body strength, not just upper body strength, pure body strength. We even go further and say grip strength to full body strength. So if you have strong grip, you can get strong pull-ups. But I think it's absolutely like Chris was saying, if you were building confidence in your ability to pull yourself over a bar, I just think a lot of things come after that.
What about decentric pull-ups?
Oh, eccentric pull-ups?
Damn it.
That's a
Good effort,
real
huh?
brutal one.
I'll edit it.
That you need oh man, you want to be.
Probably need a spotter.
You need a spotter. That's a good one for a trainer. And I've done that before, and I really mean it. Like, you comb your hair and you feel that. It's like, this comb is so heavy.
That's how you get those Bruce Lee Cobra lats. Though.
Yeah, that's like,
I don't have those.
That is like Jean-Claude Van Damme style.
I got chipper Twinkie lats.
But yeah, eccentric pull-ups, my God. That's brutal.
Yeah, I mean,
in a great way.
Challenge accept. Well, I think everyone who's listening is just right now, they're saying challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Pull-ups. Do the pull-up challenge.
Pull-up
You've done the
bar.
push-up challenge. Everyone's done that through COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Get the pull-up challenge going.
Pull-up challenge.
It's just funny to me, like, there's all these machines, there's all these compound workouts and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it's like pull-ups, squats,
the simple stuff.
deadlifts,
Push-ups.
It's crazy.
You just can't beat them. And no one's going to find something better. That's the thing. You can do all the research you want. You're not going to find a way to trick your body into getting stronger than doing pull-ups,
Okay.
Well, there
Barring
you go.
physical limitations. Everyone has, that there's a limitation, that's one thing. But with a clean bill of health,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, my limitation's laziness.
Mental capacity.
Denial.
Like, that thing is so high.
I have to jump.
I'm going to stay down here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's always great to talk to you, Mike. This has been super enlightening for us. As usual, these podcasts end up being incredibly self-serving, but we hope that people listening at home also find some value.
I think people have our problems.
Yeah. Our problems
Along
are pretty
with us.
universal.
And then some on top of that.
Middle-aged
maybe.
dad problems.
Yeah.
Now this chipper's almost in middle age. You 35 yet?
In May.
Oh, man.
Then I'm on the
Welcome.
wrong side of 30.
Business end.
I wonder if I'm going to see any concerts this year.
I don't know.
I had a guest appearance at a concert.
That was the last person I expect to see at a Billy Strings concert was Mike.
Yeah. You still remember the concert when we went to that Metallica concert?
I see. This is why I figured Chipper would be more at the Metallica shows with me and Chris, and not Billy
I'll
Strings.
go to a Metallica show.
I mean,
Yes?
how crazy? I mean, this isn't Swimrun content, but how crazy was that Metallica show? So let me set the stage. Salesforce, which is a huge, multinational corporation based in San Francisco,
Fortune 10 probably.
they rent out AT&T Park where the Giants play because they're doing some team building thing, end of the year party. It's around the Super Bowl. And they book Metallica to play the thing. So everyone who has a Salesforce gets free tickets. And we know a bunch of people at Salesforce. So somebody couldn't go and gave me the tickets. And I was like, who is going to appreciate this? And I remember you and I had a conversation about Metallica. Just a random conversation. I was like, hey, man, you want to go to this thing? And it was an amazing, it was such a good show.
I still owe you for that. That was just that was super nice of you. They have been playing
You can't say
live.
no to any podcast invite now.
I really can't. In fact, I should be paying you guys probably.
That's
We'll have
it.
you on another 105 episodes.
Yeah.
They've been playing longer than I've been alive. They've been performing live longer than I've been on this planet, which is
crazy.
pretty cool.
That's crazy. Yeah,
That's
we're
right.
just getting older, though.
Mhm.
Everything seems like songs from like the 90s. It's like so long ago. It's crazy.
It's over 30 years ago.
I know.
Again,
it's wild.
senior coach. Boy, oh boy.
Senior coach.
What comes after that? Like Coach Emeritus? or
Lead.
something?
Coach emeritus.
Lead coach lead,
coach.
maybe?
Jeez.
They
What-
change your name to Matt.
Yeah.
Like Matt
I think I'm
II.
going to be Matt Olzinski. That's
like
next.
French kings, Louis the 15th.
Nice.
Well, awesome. Well,
Thank
hey,
you
man,
guys.
thanks for coming on. Thanks for
Mhm.
coming to the studio. We appreciate you. Appreciate you taking the time and sharing
Yep.
your knowledge with us. And yeah, man.
Well, keep doing a wonderful work for the Swimrun community. And I
Thanks.
am soon to be a part of it.
I love
Yeah,
it.
We're going to see you.
Love that.
Now that you've thrown that out there in the ether, it's happening.
Oh,
Yeah.
I might have shot
It's
myself
already
in the foot.
manifested
Oh,
already
There.
in the
It's there.
garage.
You already threw it out there. It's already going to come back at you.
That's going to be trouble.
It's going to be great.
Okay. It's good, though.
Okay. Well, we'll see you at AP then. Well, that's it for this week's episode. Thanks so much for listening to the show. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and leave a review, since that's the best way to help other people discover the show and the sport of swim run.
Sign up for our newsletter at lowtideboys.com. That's boys with a Z. And check out our meme page at the Low Tide Boys on Instagram. If you have any suggestions for the show or questions for us, send us a DM or an email at lowtideboys@gmail.com.
We'd like to thank Riding Easy Records for our show music, and of course our wives for their support and tolerance of all our swim run activities, podcast, and other stuff.
Yeah, other stuff.
Way
to keep it PG. Finally, you can support our efforts on Patreon. Until next time, get out there and go for a swim.
Go for a run,
Then another swim.
then another run,
And then another swim.
and then another run.
And then just keep going
So
until you're done.
you're done. Or maybe can't
And
stop.
stop.
Won't stop.